Nu как там мог?
Все готово.
Okay. So, hey there, everyone. Welcome to our free IELTS masterclass. My name is Nash Akthar. So, we are slowly starting our session. So, first of all, I would like to know if you guys can hear me. So, if you can hear me, if you can see me and hear me, could you please type yes? I would really appreciate. So, if you could just type yes, if you can hear me, I would really appreciate. So just make sure that you can hear me, you can see me, because it's going to be a very important session if you're planning to prepare for IELTS. So yeah. So just need a thumbs up or a plus sign or yes if you can hear me. Okay, great. So I see that it's a yes. So thank you very much. So I see like everyone can hear me and see me. Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you very much. So once again, my name is Nash Akthar. I'm a certified IELTS trainer, and I'm also an official IELTS administrator. That means I have been conducting the IELTS exam in Eastern Europe for 4 years, and I also worked as a director of an official IELTS testing center in Eastern Europe as well. So I've been involved in IELTS for more than 10 years now. So yes, I can say that I have a lot of experience. So during the latter part of our session, I'll be more than happy to answer your questions related to IELTS. Any question related to IELTS, starting from preparation, registering for the exam, then about the computer format, because now in Sri Lanka, we only have the computer format. So any question related to IELTS, I'll be more than happy to answer at the end of our session. As for preparing Sri Lankan students, I can say that we have really been effective with our approach. Quite often, our students, they achieve very high scores on their first attempt. Already, we have conducted some workshops, and also we have this tradition where we gift a mug, which is called the I Have Mastered IELTS. And every time when a student achieves their desired score, we commemorate, we celebrate that by gifting this symbolic mug. So one event we conducted at the Hotel Galadari. The next event was at the Hotel Shangri-La. So within 6 months, we also want to conduct another event, because quite often our students, they achieve very high scores on their first attempt. And as you can see, the results, they speak for themselves, and it shows that overall students get what they want. And that's a very important thing, because quite often students end up taking this exam multiple times. So guys, today I'm going to really make this session useful for you all. So first of all, I will explain the overall structure and how you should prepare for this exam, then certain misconceptions that you shouldn't fall for. Then I'm going to focus on a very important skill, which is called paraphrasing. And then, guys, how you should prepare effectively. And then for listening and reading, I'm going to focus on essential skills, and we will have some interactive tasks. So make sure to get every valuable information that I'm going to share today. So for all our participants, later I'll mention, I'm going to share this PDF file. So it's actually related to writing. So all the vocabulary that you need for writing, you will find in this PDF. So I will share a link a bit later. Then I would ask you all to kind of download it. So make sure that you get it, because it's going to be important. And then, guys, tomorrow our consultants would also share another PDF related to speaking as well. So I think I've spoken about myself and about my organization. So now I would really appreciate if you could introduce yourself. So guys, can you tell me, if you're here, where are you from? Are you from Colombo, from Kandy, from Gaul, from Jaffna, from Ampara, for example? Why you need IELTS, your required band score, when you plan to take the exam, and whether this is your first attempt. So could you please type? Now I have created a template. So you can follow that template too. Like, hi, my name is David from Colombo. I need IELTS to enter a university in the UK. I need a band 7 and plan to take the exam in 3 months. This will be my first attempt. By the way, guys, with me, I have our IELTS consultants supporting me. So we have Yana, who would also answer your questions together with Olga. So in case I don't answer all your questions, our consultants will also assist you. So yeah, please introduce yourselves. Would be very nice if you all could introduce yourselves, because we'd like to know all our participants. Like your name, where you're from, why you need IELTS, and what is the required score, and when I plan to take the exam. So it would be nice if everyone can make an effort and type. And I see people are typing. That's nice. So I see some people are joining. So if you have just joined, could you please introduce yourselves? Okay. So here we go. So I see that some are from Colombo. Great. So now you know that the required score, right? It ranges. Sometimes people can have very specific requirements. Now I see that someone is from Jaffna. I need to get band score of 7 each and overall 7 for my higher studies. Okay, great. And when I plan to take the exam, by the way, okay, and I see from Batticolo, okay. Okay, so we also have from Novarelia, want to do IELTS to migrate to work as an English teacher. I need a band score of 8. High requirement, but achievable, especially if you're an English teacher. Okay, need points given for superior English in Australian migration, band 8 in every test. Okay, last time I scored. Okay, great. So understood. So you really need to get connected with our consultants as well, because I would really like to see how we can help you, because you have a very specific and a very high requirement, achievable. And since you have already taken the exam, would really like to get in touch with you and see how we can really guide you, right? Because it's good that you've already taken the exam. Just need to see how to take things forward, like what you should focus more on. Okay, so some they just take IELTS to get a great job. That's wonderful. Okay, we have Emily from Colombo. Need IELTS to apply for student visa. 7 exam before the end of the year. Okay. Okay. Okay, so someone just needs IELTS to work in Canada, but can you tell us your required score? Then we have from Gaul, need to get band 7. Required score 7. Okay. Then we have from Vaunia. Okay, we have from Kegol. We have from Trincomalee. So great. So we have people from different parts of Sri Lanka. That's wonderful. Okay, guys, I'm going to move on. So yeah. So thank you very much for the introduction. And I see that the required score ranges between 7 and 8. Quite often, let's say if you want to enter a European university, the required score is actually between 6.5 and 7. But of course, for Canada, Australia, if it's for immigration, it could be 7 and higher. So it's very important to know the exact requirement, and also keep in mind that at the exam, you need to understand which format you should take, right? Whether it's academic IELTS or general IELTS. Fine. So once again, guys, thank you very much for the introduction. That's really nice of you all to introduce yourselves. If I have missed someone, please don't take it personal, because I have read everyone. And also, because so many messages are coming, I just want to teach. Okay, so thank you very much, guys. But I'll go through again. But I will also show you how you can get in touch with our consultant who would assist you further. And we have some free bonuses at the end, so I'll share that as well. Okay, we also have from Anuradhapura, 8 and above. So you see, those who need 8 and above, right, I will discuss at the end. There should be a strategic focus. And also, there are some of you all who, like you all need 7 for every section, right? Who need 7 for every section. Remember, that's also a very specific requirement. So you need to understand what exactly you should do right from the beginning, not to mess things up, right? So that's important as well. Fine. So guys, let's start. So remember, when it comes to IELTS, right, or IELTS, now this exam is the most popular language test in the world. So it stands for International English Language Testing System. It's the most popular language test in the world. Over 3.5 million candidates, they sit for this exam every year. 3.5 million candidates. So that's a big number, right? And surprisingly, only 40 to 45% candidates, they achieve the required score on their first attempt. Only 40 to 45. The rest, they end up taking the exam multiple times. Now, as you know, in Sri Lanka, the exam cost around 70,000 rupees. So let's hope that we will achieve our required score on our first attempt, that we don't take this exam for the second time or for the third time, right? Because that's going to be costly. So you just need to understand that the exam is not difficult. All what you need to do is to understand what exactly you should do for every section. Now, to do that, guys, you also need to understand the purpose of this exam. So remember, if you are aiming for a band 7 and higher, and if you achieve a band 7, let's say for IELTS speaking, you prove that you have the ability to negotiate in English. You have the ability to organize your thoughts. You have the ability to connect your ideas. Now these skills will be very important for your professional life. So for writing, when you write letters or when you write a report, when you write an article, you need to be logical. And for listening and reading, guys, remember, for reading, you are not supposed to read the whole text word by word and answer questions. You're not supposed to do that. You never do that. That's a mistake. So you need to master essential skills. So you need to be very careful, because you can't always rely on YouTube videos, because quite often I see that they convey misleading information. And I say this because I used to work with the British Council very closely. And I still arrange the exam for Eastern European countries. So I know the official guidelines, and some tips that they share, they don't follow all those guidelines. So it's quite misleading. And also remember, guys, when you do practice tests, both for listening and reading, please do practice tests from Cambridge IELTS practice test, Cambridge IELTS, IELTS practice test books, not on YouTube. Don't do listening on YouTube. I saw some YouTube videos and they don't follow professional guidelines, because if they upload official audios, right, they'll get blocked. So they simulate their own scripts and they don't follow official guidelines, and that can be an issue. Anyway, coming to the point, remember, the main purpose of IELTS is to show that you can use English fluently in a native, professional, English-speaking environment. That's the main purpose. So try to understand that. So never think that this is an exam with structure. This is an exam that, I need to use some tricks. No. Try to understand how it's going to be beneficial for you, for your professional life. Okay? Now, if you look at the exam structure, when we speak about the exam structure, remember, there are 4 sections. We have listening, reading, writing, and speaking. Can you all tell me which section is the easiest and which section is the most challenging? What do you think, guys? Can you type? Which section is the easiest and which section is the most challenging? Any guesses? Now we have listening, reading, writing, and speaking. Some of y'all need 7 for every section, 7.5 for overall. Maybe, you need 8 overall. Now, based on your knowledge, your experience, and I see some of y'all have already taken the exam, which section is the easiest? Which section is the most challenging? What do you think? Okay, I see someone saying that listening is the easiest, right? I see like many are saying, uh-huh. Okay. Now, for example, Bimali is saying that listening and reading are easier. Speaking is the most challenging. Okay. So love this response. Okay, reading is easy. Speaking, challenging. Speaking is the easiest. Okay. Some are saying that writing is the most challenging, right? But some are saying easy to write. Okay. Fine. So I'm getting different answers, right? I'm getting different answers. So I'm not going to say that one is right and the other is wrong. And I'll be very honest with you. And some are even saying listening is challenging. Some are saying listening is the most challenging, right? Some are saying listening is the most challenging. Well, it all depends on your exposure. That's why I asked this question. Now, if you're a person who is listening to audiobooks, if you're watching documentaries, right? If you have that overall exposure, then listening will be easier than those who don't. And those who listen to podcasts, audiobooks, those who watch documentaries, they will also improve their speaking skills faster. Always make sure to watch interviews, guys. Please make sure to watch interviews, not with politicians, but, maybe with famous people, celebrities, maybe people who have contributed a lot to the society, right? I don't know. So just watch some interviews, get an idea. So every day, expose yourself. So once again, if you are into listening, you will find IELTS listening much easier, which is obvious, and you will also improve your speaking skills. If you're into reading, and by the way, who is reading? Do we have people who are really into reading books? And by the way, in Sri Lanka, there are so many bookshops, public libraries, right? So who is into reading books in English? Do we have such people? So if you're into reading, and even if you read a newspaper, nowadays, it's not that pleasant, right? But Sri Lanka is always interesting when it comes to news because we have a lot of drama. But the point is, if you read news, if you read books, if you read on a daily basis, you will improve your reading skills and you will find IELTS reading much easier than those who don't. And you will also improve your writing skills faster. So always remember to expose yourself. And if you really want to minimize spelling mistakes, if you have students who are struggling with spelling mistakes, please read, expose yourself. Now, there is a famous saying, bad habits are easy to start, but hard to live with. Good habits are difficult to start. Yes, you don't feel interested, but it's a good habit. It will not tempt you, but it's a good habit. So it's difficult to start, but easy to live with. Now, for example, to eat a burger, you feel tempted. But if you eat burgers every day, there'll be consequences. There'll be negative effects. But if you eat vegetables, not cooked vegetables, but let's say like a salad regularly, maybe it's not that tempting, but there'll be long-term benefits and you will feel better. So always remember, guys, expose yourself. That is an important skill. So always make sure to read and listen. Now, coming to my question, according to statistics, listening is the first section where you can achieve a band 9. If you prepare well, and I'm going to share some skills today, you can achieve a band 9. Then it's reading. If you prepare well, it's not that difficult, believe me. And reading is very interesting, guys. I love reading. And today we're going to do a bit of true, false, not given. You will understand it. Then It's actually speaking that becomes slightly more challenging, and the most challenging. And when I say challenging, actually, this is the section where students fail to achieve a very high score on their first attempt, and that is writing. So writing is the section where students struggle to achieve a very high score on their first attempt. So guys, remember, listening, reading, speaking, writing. So once you understand how to approach them, it's not a very difficult exam. And let me be very honest with you. Maybe you must have heard about PTE, I'm pretty sure. And some people think that PTE is easier than IELTS, right? Believe me, PTE is more challenging than IELTS. You know, for PTE, we have, for example, like a passage, like 2 to 3 paragraphs. You need to read it and write one summary in one sentence. You have to summarize it in one sentence. Sometimes you need to listen to a lecture talk and you need to summarize it. And that's pretty challenging, guys. On the other hand, IELTS, it's very easy. It's just you need to know what exactly you should do for every question type. Okay, so that's the main purpose. Now listen to me carefully. Now, everyone who is here, make sure you have a pen and a paper. Listen to me carefully. If you want to achieve a very high score in IELTS, if you want to pass this exam successfully, then you need to know this particular skill. It is called paraphrasing. Paraphrasing is a very important skill for all 4 sections: listening, reading, writing, and speaking. Remember that. It's important for every section, starting from listening to writing. Okay? So what is paraphrasing? You might wonder. Paraphrasing means expressing the same meaning in a different way. This is done by replacing certain words with synonyms or by changing the word form and changing the structure of a sentence. Paraphrasing means to say the same thing in a different way. We can change the word form, right? Noun to its verb, adjective to its adverb, or we can change the word order in a sentence, or we can replace certain words with synonyms. So that is paraphrasing. So guys, can we do a task? But look at the example here. It says, the new iPhone 17 will be released in September. We can say the launch of the new iPhone 17 will be in September. The launch of the new iPhone 17 will be in September. You see? So what have we done? We have replaced the word release with the word launch, and we have used the noun form. So that's why the launch of the new iPhone 17 will be in September. The launch of the new iPhone 17 will be in September. So guys, look at this one. You see? Now, look at the first way to paraphrase, converting the word form. So look at the first sentence. It says, Yanni was the composer of Winds of Orchids. Yanni was the composer of Winds of Orchids. Look at the second sentence. It says, Yanni Winds of Orchids. Yanni Winds of Orchids. Now, in this sentence, the missing word is a verb, right? Yanni did something. Yanni Winds of Orchids. I want you to convert composer to its verb form and give me the answer. So what is the answer for the next sentence? Yanni, what is the verb form of composer, and what should be the answer? What is the answer for the sentence here, guys? Yanni, what is the verb form of composer? Composer. And what should be the answer? Yanni Winds of Orchids. Yanni Winds of Orchids. So composer to compose. Well done. Very good. Very good. I see the answers coming. Well done. Composed. Well done. Composed. Very good. What about the next sentence? She performed. You see, she performed. That's an action. That's a verb. She performed really well at the concert. She gave an excellent at the concert. What should be the answer, guys? She performed really well at the concert. She gave an excellent. What is the noun? Because here we need the noun form, right? An excellent at the concert. Can you all type? So for the first one, it's composed. Well done. Very good. Those who answered, I see that you all answered. Well done. What about the next one? She performed really well at the concert. She gave an excellent. Well done. Very good. Very good. Lovely. Performance. Performance. Absolutely. She gave an excellent performance, right? Look at the next one. Sarah and her friend had creative differences. Sarah and her friend had creative differences. What is the verb form of difference? What do you think? What is the verb form of differences? So well done, guys. For the second one, it's performance. Lovely, lovely. What about the third one? Sarah and her friend had creative differences. Sarah and her friend creatively. So we need the verb of difference. What is the verb form of difference? What do you think? It's a bit tricky, but if we can get it, it would be nice. But I love the energy. I love the way you guys are responding. So difference, the verb form should be to differ. The verb form should be to differ. Okay. And the correct answer is differed. So those who got it, well done. Very good. Some of you all have tried it. Well done. Differ. Well done. Very good. But it was in the past, right? So it should be deferred. Deferred. Well done, guys. Well done. So those who made an effort, well done. Very good. So it's deferred. Well done. Very good. Lovely. So did you see? We can also change the word form. And when we change the word form, we can also change the word order in a sentence. You see, for example, she performed really well at the concert. She gave an excellent performance at the concert. So, guys, this is a very important principle that you all need to know, So, guys, those who answered, well done. Keep it up. Keep it up. Okay. Look at the next one. Ways to paraphrase. The second way, guys, is to replace certain words with synonyms. Certain words with synonyms. Look at this sentence. It says, technology plays an important role in the education sector. Technology plays an important role in the education sector. Important. What other synonyms can we use instead of important? What do you think, guys? What other synonyms can we use instead of important? Because important is a word that we use quite often. And my advice is, both for speaking and for writing, not to use important too often. So can you give me synonyms? What other words can we use instead of important? What do you think? Well done. Significant. Significant. Okay. Vital. Well done. Vital. Okay. What else, guys? Well done. So significant, vital, right? We can say essential. Well done. Essential, significant, vital. Very good. We can also say pivotal, right? Pivotal, instrumental, right, guys? Paramount, right? So well done. Very good. Very good. Well done. Very good. So yes, crucial, pivotal, significant, vital. Now, did you see for an adjective, we were able to come up with more than one option. Important is an adjective. Important is an adjective. Adjective means the word that describes a noun. Now, for example, big boy, huge boy, right? Huge. Or massive. He is massive. You see? So you see, when it comes to an adjective, we can use different synonyms, other adjectives as well, right? This is a very important skill for IELTS. Very important skill for IELTS. Why? Now, for example, in IELTS listening, the question could be, who played the most important role in the company? Who played the most important role in the company? When you listen, they're not going to say, John played the most important role in the company. No, they might say, everyone contributed, but John's role was the most significant. Or John played the pivotal part to make this project a success, you see? So we need to always pay attention to adjectives and adverbs, guys. But you guys have done it really well. So well done. So everyone who gave an answer, gave an option, well done. Very good. Kudos to you all. Now look at the next one. It says, smoking is bad for health. Smoking is bad for health. What other words can we use instead of bad? Bad is an adjective too, like bad boy. Yeah, bad environment. Smoking is bad for health. Can you give me synonyms for bad, guys? Can you give me synonyms for bad? What do you think? What other synonyms can we use? So smoking is bad for health. Smoking is, any guesses? So for example, we can say smoking is harmful, detrimental, injurious, maybe, but I would use better alternatives. I would use better options. But detrimental, harmful, what else? Detrimental, harmful, destructive, guys. Destructive. Yes. Harmful, those who said harmful, well done. Very good. Okay. Very good. Let's move on to number 2. It is a big problem. So big problem. You see? Now let's convert it to a better phrase. Big problem. So problem, what other words can we use? What do you think? Problem. So I see other options too, but I would focus more on detrimental, destructive, harmful. But for number 2, it is a big problem. We can say it is a problem. What other words can we use? Issue. Well done. Issue. Then we can also say challenge, right? We can also say challenge, right? We can say challenge. We can say concern. We can also say obstacles, right? So we can use such words as well. Well done. Very good. But because it's big problem, right? Because it's a big problem, we can say a major concern, a serious issue, a massive concern, a huge concern, right? Problem is a concern because when we have problems, we tend to worry, right? We tend to worry. So that means it's a concern, it's a challenge. Then guys, number 3, we must save, we must protect, preserve the environment. So instead of save, we can also use synonyms such as protect or preserve. Children need, children require more attention from their parents. Children need, children require more attention from their parents. This is instead of need, we can also use other synonyms. So always develop this habit of paying attention to adjectives and adverbs and also the verbs, because guys, when you read in IELTS and when you listen, you might either hear synonyms or when you read the text, you will find synonyms. So always try to pay attention to these words, okay? Adjectives, adverbs, verbs, and of course, like, the keyword. I mean, adjective, adverbs, and verbs. So you'll always see synonyms for these 3 words. But well done, guys. I see a lot of options coming. I see some nice words being suggested here. So that's very nice. And even some better options like a huge impact. Well done. Very good. Okay. So now, guys, but impact, it has a more broader meaning, right? So we need to be careful how we use it. But overall, well done. Okay. So now, the third way to paraphrase is to use the passive voice. Now, in English, we use the passive voice to emphasize on the action, to stress on the action. Now, look at the example here. It says, the government should take immediate measures. The government should take immediate measures. We can say immediate measures should be taken by the government, right? Because we emphasize on the action. Immediate measures should be taken by the government. Look at the next one. Parents should teach children foreign languages at an early stage. Foreign languages should be taught to children at an early stage. Foreign languages should be taught to children at an early stage. Now, why? Because we are mentioning this as a solution. So it doesn't matter who should do it. It could be parents, it could be schools. But our main aim is to emphasize on the action. That's why we're saying foreign languages should be taught to children at an early stage. You see, foreign languages should be taught to children at an early stage. So that's why it's important. So what did we learn? We learned 3 ways of paraphrasing. One is to change the word order, like what we have now. One is to replace certain words with synonyms, certain words like adjectives, adverbs, verbs, and common nouns like problem. The last method, which is actually was the first that I showed you all, is to convert the word form, noun to its verb, adjective to its adverb. Guys, once you know this, believe me, once you understand this, you will find IELTS listening, reading much easier. This is the core principle. This is the core principle. Keep in mind. And when you write essays, right, when you write an introduction, you need to paraphrase the statement of the question. For IELTS speaking, the examiner can ask, what kind of restaurants are popular in your city or where you live? So you can't say like, we have many popular restaurants. Chinese restaurants are popular. Japanese restaurants are also popular. You can't speak like that. You can say, in my city, we can find a wide range of restaurants serving different cuisines. But the most prominent, the most visited restaurant is or the most visited restaurants are Chinese restaurants, for example. You see, so the examiner, guys, would focus on that keyword, important, popular, problem. Please check all the official IELTS speaking questions. And you will see that for every question, there is a keyword. What are the advantages? What are the disadvantages? So you just need to know how to identify these keywords and also think about synonyms. So it's a very easy approach. Maybe if you're new, you might find it a bit maybe a bit difficult to understand it. But once you get the right guidelines, it's very easy, guys. So please don't just focus on practice tests. Don't just keep on doing practice tests. If teachers are just teaching y'all without teaching, just doing practice tests without a strategy, then it's also not going to be that effective, okay? So I'll take questions a bit later. Now, let's focus on IELTS listening, okay? So guys, remember, I've already mentioned it's the easiest section. It's going to be the first section at your exam. There are 4 parts, the first part being the easiest, and the second more challenging, and the third and the fourth. Fourth being the most challenging, not the third, but third is also quite challenging. You will have 40 questions. For every part, you will have 10 questions. So for every part, you will have 10 questions. Remember that as well. So I've already mentioned that the first part is the easiest, and the second part is slightly more challenging. And there is a reason for that, because the first 2 parts focus on everyday situations. The last 2 parts are based on academic situations. So also remember, guys, when you prepare for this exam, you need to understand the structure, the composition of every section. Don't do practice tests without understanding the composition, like how every part is structured. Always try to understand the structure. You can visit the official website, ielts.org, right? ielts.org. You can get a nice idea because, you will find all the official guidelines. That's why I'm saying, please don't start with YouTube videos. Don't visit websites which are not official. please visit the official website, ielts.org. Visit the IDP website, right? Visit like, Cambridge guidelines. Get the official guidelines, guys. Because you see, you cannot, like, it's a big mistake if you kind of grasp the wrong information, the wrong guidelines, right? It will be a disaster. So first step, guys, if you're new to IELTS, if you haven't taken the exam yet, my humble request is to understand the structure. And listen to me carefully. I'll explain very quickly, okay? So guys, listening, there are 4 parts. First part, there are 10 questions. It focuses on basic everyday conversations in familiar settings. Questions often include form filling, matching, or multiple choice formats. You'll hear 2 speakers talking in a casual setting. Pay attention to specific details such as dates, times, names, or places. So with this part, guys, you need to fill in basic information. And as you can see, we have postcode. If you can see the presentation, postcode. Then traveling by bus. And then you see date of bus journey. So you need to understand what date the bus journey was, on what date, right? So when you listen to such information, you might hear distractors. Now, they might say, when was the bus journey? And they might say like, well, I think it was the 20th of February. I'm sorry, no, I think it was a day before, 23rd. So always pay attention to distractors. So the correct answer is 23rd. Then, guys, you also need to kind of understand whether the missing word is a noun, adjective, or adverb. Now, for example, I hope you all can see it. I know it can be a bit small. Like reason for trip, shopping, and visit to the. Now, if there is the definite article, then the missing word is a noun. Maybe visit to the museum, visit to the market, for example, right? So you need to predict the missing word, the missing information. So usually during my courses, I teach students the techniques that they can implement to make logical predictions. So that's part 1. Now, part 2 is always a dialogue. Sorry, part 2 is a monologue. Part 1 is a dialogue. Part 2 is always a monologue. I'm so sorry. Once again, part 1 is a dialogue. It's a conversation. Part 2 is a monologue. It's one person talking. So it's always related to an event, maybe a museum, maybe a historical site, right? So the speaker would speak about a library, maybe about an event I've already mentioned, right? So you listen to the speaker. So one person talking, and then you need to deal with such question types like multiple choice questions, which I will discuss with you all today, or question with 2 options. You see? So it's always a monologue based on a day-to-day situation. For example, speaking about an event, speaking about a historical site, and so on. So that's part 2. And then we have part 3. So part 3 is always a dialogue, a conversation. So you will hear 2 students discussing a report, or maybe it could be a student and a lecturer, or maybe it could be 2 students and maybe 1 lecturer. So there can sometimes be 3 people involved as well, but it's always a conversation. And it's based on academic situations, right? Because if they're discussing a report, a presentation, you understand. So part 3 becomes extremely challenging because you do need to deal with multiple choice questions, but you also need to understand their viewpoint, whether they agree, whether they disagree. So that's why, guys, it's more challenging than part 2. So that's part 3, guys. Okay, 1 second. Then we have part 4. So part 4 is always based on a lecture talk. So part 4 is always based on a lecture talk. So it's also a very important part 4. It's based on a lecture talk. And this part becomes the most challenging. So this part becomes the most challenging. And I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why it becomes the most challenging. Because for part 1, 2, and 3, there is always a pause. Now, for example, part 1, they will give you some time to go through questions 1 to 5. Then they'll play the audio, and then you need to answer the questions. You understand? Yes. So they'll give you some time. You need to go through questions 1 to 5. They'll give you like half a minute. So during that half a minute, you need to predict the missing words. Then they'll play the audio and then you'll answer questions. Then they'll give you some time to go through questions 6 to 10. You need to predict the missing word. You need to understand whether the missing information is a phone number, right? So they will give you some time and then they'll play the audio and then you answer questions 6 to 10. But with part 4, you need to answer all 10 questions without a break. So yes, it takes more effort, right? You need to kind of understand what exactly is missing for every word. But guys, for every part, there are proper guidelines. For every part, there are proper guidelines. For every question type, there are strategies. So at the beginning, like during the first part of your preparation, if you learn how to approach these question types, then you can really pass the listening part easily. So the listening section is very easy, guys. You just need to understand what you should do for every part. So now I would like to speak about the question types you will have at the exam. So we have sentence completion, multiple choice questions, summary completion, matching questions, questions with 2 options, table completion, map labeling, and flowchart completion. So these are the question types, you see. So sentence completion, multiple choice questions, summary completion, matching questions, question with 2 options, table completion, map labeling, and flowchart completion. Now, map labeling, flowchart completion, you will mostly find in part 2, map labeling for sure. Flowchart completion can be both in part 2 and part 3 quite often. Sometimes can be in part 4, but mostly in part 3. Matching questions, you will find both in part 2 and part 3. So you can find the question types, guys, on the official website as well. You need to know how to approach every question type if you want to achieve a very high score. So please don't just join programs or watch YouTube videos and believe everything they say. Believe me, guys, because I'm telling you, because I've seen students end up taking the exam multiple times. And more than the money, more than the time, emotionally, it's very hard, guys. Emotionally, it's a bit traumatizing because they lose confidence, they feel frustrated. So let's not go there. So all I'm asking now is not to join my course. I'm asking you all to stick to official guidelines, and you can do it. Visit the official website, ielts.org, right? Get to know the structure, get to know the question types. And then, guys, we will also share the links that you can do a practice test for the computer format from the official websites. Okay, so we will share with our managers. Do ask them. They will share it with you tomorrow. They will do it tomorrow. So for listening, to approach every question type, there are 4 essential skills: paraphrasing, identifying keywords, predicting missing words, paying attention to distractors. Paraphrasing is important for multiple choice questions. And also for every question type, it's an important skill. That's why I taught you all paraphrasing. Then when you read questions, you need to identify keywords. Then, guys, for sentence completion, you need to predict the missing word, and you also need to pay attention to distractors. Now, look at this question, and I'm going to do it with you all. We're going to focus on how to answer multiple choice questions. Look at question A. What does the speaker apologize about the seats? Why does the speaker apologize about the seats? They are too small. There are not enough of them. Some of them are very close together. So first, pay attention to keywords, okay? Why does speaker apologize about the seats? So why apologize about seats? Why does the speaker say sorry? You see, I rephrased it. They are too small. There are not enough of them. Some of them are very close together. Now, when you listen, guys, you're not going to hear too small. They're going to use synonyms. Now, too small. Small is an adjective, too small. So how to say it in a different way? Can you all type, guys? How to say too small in a different way? They are too small. The chairs are too small. How to say it in a different way? There are not enough of them. That means not enough of them. Some of them are very close together. So can you give me synonyms? Because that's what we learned today. for all these options? What do you think? So they are too small. Imagine if the chairs are too small, we can say the chairs are, and we don't have enough of them. So how would you say it a different way? Now this is a very important step that we are focusing today, is to think about rephrasing. It is a habit that you need to develop. It is a habit that you all need to master. Okay. So for example, guys, I see people are typing. Well done. Now they are too small. Imagine if the chairs are too small. I'm pretty sure you must have seen chairs which are very small. So we can say the chairs are tiny, right? The chairs are not that spacious, right? The chairs are not that spacious. Well done. Or for example, we can say that, well done. Very good. So I see some answers coming. Well done. Yes. So we can say tiny, not that spacious, right? Not enough of them. There are not enough of them. That means, well done. Very good, guys. So not enough of them. Not enough of them means not enough for everyone to sit, or we can't make everyone sit today. We can't make everyone sit today. Yes, well done. So everybody's kind of giving some options. Well done. Very good. You see, some of them are very close together. If they're very close together, that means, we will feel congested. So like that, guys, you see, now they are too small. That means the chairs aren't big enough, right? There are not enough of them. We are short of chairs. We are short of chairs. Yeah. Well done. I'm getting some nice options too from you all. Well done, guys. Well done. Very good. Okay. Some of them are very close together. So if the chairs are very close together, that means we feel congested. We feel packed. Okay. Look at B. What does the speaker say about the age of volunteers? The age of volunteers is less important than other factors. That means the age of volunteers is not that significant. You see, important, we learned today, not that significant. Young volunteers are less reliable than older ones. So less reliable means they are not as dependable or less consistent. And most volunteers are about 60 years old. That means they're approaching their retirement age. They're approaching their retirement age. So what did we do? We rephrased every option. We rephrased every option in this multiple choice question. So guys, let's read the script. Okay, can you all read the script? And I'm going to give you all some time and answer the question. We're not going to listen. We're going to focus on the technique. Okay, so that's why I want you all to read the script and choose the correct option. Now look at A. Why does the speaker apologize about the seats? Why does the speaker apologize about the seats? Now it's in the second paragraph. It's in the second paragraph, and I want everyone to answer. Okay, I want everyone to make an effort. And what does the speaker say about the age of volunteers? What does the speaker say about the age of volunteers? Now look, it says, good evening, everyone. Let me start by welcoming you all to this talk and thanking you for taking the time to consider joining ACE Volunteer Organization. ACE offers support to people and services in the local area, and we are now looking for more volunteers to help us do this. Then look at the second paragraph. It says, by the way, I hope you're all comfortable. We have brought in extra seats so that no one has to stand, but it does mean that people at the back of the room may be a bit squashed. We'll only be here for about half an hour or so. Hopefully, that's okay. So once again, guys, the question is, why does the speaker apologize about the seats? A, they are too small. B, there are not enough of them. C, some of them are very close together. So what's the answer? What's the answer? Is it A, B, or C? Because here she says that we have brought in extra seats so that no one has to stand. That means they have enough chairs. But it does mean that people at the back of the room may be a bit squashed. We'll only be here for about half an hour or so. Hopefully, that's okay. So she's apologizing for what? She says that people at the back will be a bit squashed because we have brought in extra seats. So, well done. Well done. Very good. It's C. It's C. Well done. It's C, isn't it? Well done. Very good. Lovely, guys. Lovely, lovely. Very good. Very good. Look at B. What does the speaker say about the age of volunteers? What does the speaker say about the age of volunteers? What does the speaker say about the age of volunteers? A, the age of volunteers is less important than other factors. B, young volunteers are less reliable than older ones. C, most volunteers are about 60 years old. Okay, so I see some people have already answered the second one as well. Well done. Those who have already answered, well done. Okay, so look at the paragraph, guys. It says, one of the first questions we are often asked is how old you need to be to volunteer. Well, you can be as young as 16, or you can be 60 or over. It all depends on what type of voluntary work you want to do. Other considerations, such as reliability, are crucial in voluntary work, and age isn't related to these in our experience. So age is not important. Yes, here she says that age is less important. So the correct answer is A. The correct answer is A. So well done, guys, right? Because for the first question, the correct answer is C. For the second one, it's A. Now, always remember with multiple choice questions, and please write it down, guys, because you will not find this information everywhere. Because quite often students struggle with multiple choice questions, both for listening and for reading. So with multiple choice questions, you need to identify keywords. Before you listen, that's what I did. Before you listen, rephrase every option. You see? Rephrase the option. You see? So that's important. Right? So for example, always try to rephrase the option before you listen. Now, for example, they are too small, they are tiny. There are not enough of them. That means we don't have chairs to make everyone sit. Some of them are very close together. You will feel squashed. So always rephrase, because that way you'll be more attentive. Your subconscious mind will be ready. Number two, this is very important. When you listen, they will mention these points. They might mention all the points, but they're not the correct answer. So you might feel a bit confused. So you need to understand what point they mention first. And now, in this script, guys, if you look at it for the first one, she mentioned that we have extra seats so that no one has to stand. So that means she starts with B, right? But it does mean that people at the back of the room may be a bit squashed. Then she mentions C, and that's the correct answer. So always try to follow the speaker with the options. That's the first step. That's the first step to master multiple choice questions. I hope it's clear. Okay, so always first read the question, identify keywords, then rephrase the options very quickly, go through the options very quickly, develop that habit. And then while you're listening, guys, pay attention and keep in mind, the speaker will not start with the first option, can start with the third, can start with the second. So that's why while listening, guys, pay attention to all three options. Now, at first, it might be a bit challenging, but that's the only way. And I've seen many students achieve a very high score when they follow this particular approach. So like that, guys, remember, for every question type, you need to know how to approach. So you need to know how to approach every question type. And only then you need to focus on practice tests. Remember, there are 4 essential skills: skimming, scanning, paraphrasing, and identifying keywords. So with Masterals Online, we have 2 courses. We have the Expert and the Express course. The Expert course is actually for 12 weeks. And during the first stage of our program, during the first stage, which is for 5 weeks, we prepare our students twice a week. We conduct lessons and we teach them the essential skills and how to approach every question type. And on top of that, we also provide the access to our platform and which has proven to be very effective because in our platform, we have 360 lessons, guys, 360 lessons. So if you're interested, guys, you should also consider joining the program, but I'll speak about the program a bit later. But now, guys, I would ask you all to leave your details because if you still haven't assessed your level, now let's say you plan to prepare for IELTS, you want to achieve a band 7, you want to achieve a band 8. By the way, I saw some of you all have very specific requirements, right? You need to assess your level in a very objective manner. So we are offering for 2 days this free support. What do you get? You will take a small grammar test online with the help of our consultant, and you will understand how good you are when it comes to grammar, your grammar skills. Then a nice vocabulary test, and it will also guide you how you should improve. And then, guys, you will get a free report on what exactly you should do for grammar and vocabulary. So now, guys, I have shared a link for you all to register. So please click that link, okay, because it will disappear within 20 minutes. So please click to register. You just need leave your name and your email address and your phone number. And then, guys, our consultant will share the link for the grammar test. Take the grammar test, guys, and assess your level. And those who also want my PDFs for writing and for speaking, do register. So there are 2 steps. Step number 1, you'll take the grammar test. Then, guys, we will also assess your vocabulary. Then, guys, our consultant will tell you, like, look, you need to really work on these areas. You don't have to work on these areas. You can just, prepare or maybe just take the exam. You have very good skills. So you will get very objective assessment and feedback. And at the same time, guys, you'll also get these 2 PDFs. So those who are really interested, please register now. The link is given below. So I hope it should work. Let me share the link directly as well if you're interested, right? So, guys, you can share it. Sorry, you can register and I'll share it as well. Okay, so yeah, I hope you can see the link. So do register, guys. Do register. And then, our consultants will get in touch with you. So now, guys, I'm going to quickly go through reading. It's not yet over. Don't worry, but you do register. Okay. So now we're going to focus on IELTS reading. We're going to focus on IELTS reading. So now, if you look at IELTS reading, remember, it's going to be the next part of the exam. So it's going to be for 1 hour, 60 minutes. There are 3 passages if you're taking academic IELTS. And if you're taking general IELTS, there are 3 sections. And for the first 2 sections, you will have small 2 text. It could be a paper ad. It could be a newspaper article. It could be anything. So remember, the first passage is the easiest. The second passage becomes more challenging. And the third passage is the most challenging. The same goes for general reading. The first section is the easiest. The second section becomes more challenging. And the third section is the most challenging. So what do we need to do? We don't do anything. No, we should. We need to spend 15 minutes on the first passage, 20 minutes on the second passage, and 25 minutes on the third passage. So the time management formula should be 15, 20, 25. Remember, 15, 20, 25. That's how you should manage your time. So don't spend too much time on the first passage because you need to have a lot of time for the third passage. So make sure to know that, guys. And for every passage, you will have 12 to 14 questions. If you're taking academic IELTS, and if you want a 7, you can make only 10 mistakes. Same for IELTS listening, both for general and academic. UKVI, it's the same. But if you're taking general IELTS, and if you're aiming for a 7, general IELTS reading is easier, but the marking system is more strict. So you can make only 7 mistakes. You can make only 7 mistakes. Okay. So, guys, I'll focus on the 5 skills that you need to know. One is skimming. One is skimming, to read quickly and understand the general idea. The next one is scanning. That means to find specific information. Third one is identifying keywords, both for listening and for reading. You need to read questions and identify keywords, words which are important to understand the question better. Then we have paraphrasing, to say the same thing in a different way. And then for sentence completion, we need to predict the missing word. We need to predict the missing word. Now, this skill is important both for listening, because we have summary completion, sentence completion for listening, and also it's important for IELTS reading as well. Okay, so these are the 5 essential skills. Now, both for general IELTS and academic IELTS, we will have different question types. So the first one is sentence completion. So common both for academic IELTS and for general IELTS. So you need to know how to deal with this particular question type as well. Then, guys, we have matching headings. I hope you can see we have matching headings. This one is very tricky. You need to choose the correct heading for the given paragraph. Quite confusing. You need to know how to deal with this particular question type as well, matching headings. Then we have finding information from the paragraph. So you need to know in which paragraph this information is mentioned. Now, I'm sharing these things because if you're preparing for this exam, and if you have your exam, I don't know, tomorrow or let's say this week, you need to know how to approach all these question types. Don't look at the reading exam, the reading section, as a complete test. Break it into necessary parts to understand it better, right? It should be a strategic approach. Then classification questions. So you need to understand what is mentioned about these cuts, like a TSI cut, a salvage cut, a shelterwood cut. So you need to understand what is mentioned about every cut. So this is called classifying questions. So as you can see, you don't have to read the whole paragraph, the whole passage. You scan for a TSI cut. You locate TSI cut. You read carefully. Now, that's where you need to focus on slow reading and see which statement is true for it. Is it 19, to remove trees that are diseased? Or number 20, to generate income across a number of years? Or 21, to create a forest whose trees are close in age? So here you need to rephrase as well, guys. Now, for example, when you read the text, they might say like, a TSI cut is used to get rid of trees which are not live anymore, right? Which are not lively. And for example, so they might use different phrases. So you have to kind of pay attention to that. Then, guys, I'm gonna teach you all how to answer true, false, not given. By the way, who struggles with true, false, not given? Have you ever tried this test, this question type? I'm sorry. Have you ever tried this question type, true, false, not given? And do you have questions there? So we're going to focus on how to answer true, false, not given. It is the most popular question type. So if you're taking the exam tomorrow, maybe in a month, maybe in 2 months, I can guarantee you will have this question type. And sometimes you can have this particular question type not in just one passage. It could be for 2 passages. So for every passage, you will have at least 2 question types. So someone is saying yes, well done, very good. Then, guys, multiple choice questions. Very common for the 3rd passage. Very tricky question type, guys. You need to understand that you need to be very attentive, but I've already mentioned the approach, right? Read the question. It's the same like how we focused on IELTS listening, the way we approached IELTS listening multiple choice questions, the same approach here. Read the question, identify keywords, pay attention to every option, rephrase them. I had a Sri Lankan student. He said that at the exam, it was very helpful and he got a band 9. And I asked him he said, Nash, especially with multiple choice questions, the approach that you taught to rephrase every option was really helpful. And actually, guys, it's not my trick or technique. I'm sharing official guidelines. So, guys, we also have summary completion with words given in a box. So these are, and yes, no, not given. So you need to know how to approach all these question types. So now I'm going to show you how to answer true, false, not given. Let's do this task and let's get all the answers correct. Okay. So guys, at the exam, you'll be given a statement and you need to see whether this statement is true, false, or not given. You need to see whether this statement is true, false, or not given. Okay. So how to do that? First, guys, focus on the statement. So I'm going to share the screen. Focus on the statement. Pay attention to keywords. Rephrase the statement. Locate the information and see whether it's true, false, or not given. Once again, focus on the statement. Identify keywords. Rephrase the statement. Locate the information and then see whether it's true, false, or not given. Look at number 1. You can work through parts of a course more than once. You can work through parts of a course more than once. So keywords are can work through parts more than once. That means you can repeat a section multiple times. You can repeat a section multiple times. That means in these courses, you can repeat a section multiple times. My dear students, can you read the first 3 lines? Can you read the first 3 lines and tell me whether this statement is true, false, or not given? The first 3 lines. Now, the statement says you can work through parts of a course more than once. You can repeat a section. I rephrase, you see, you can repeat a section multiple times. And can everyone type? I'm going to give you all some time. Just the first 3 lines, okay? Don't read the whole paragraph. And tell me whether this statement is true, false, or not given. Now it says Learn With Us courses are a great way to learn because they are so flexible. All our courses are taken online using a computer. So you can work through the course at your own speed and go back to any session whenever you want to. Now, the statement is you can work through parts of a course more than once. You can work through parts of a course more than once. Well done. Well done. I see the answers coming. I see the answers coming. So absolutely, absolutely, this is true. This is true, right? Well done. Very good. And I see everyone is answering here. Well done. So yes, all our courses are taken online using a computer. So you can work through the course at your own speed and go back to any session whenever you want to. Well done. You see? So you can go back to any session whenever you want. So you see, guys, that's why at the beginning of our lesson today, we focused on paraphrasing because it's a very important skill. It's a very important skill. So well done. Very good. Now look at the next one, guys. It says, the number of courses offered by Learn With Us has increased enormously. Now remember, keywords are number of courses offered has increased enormously. Number of courses offered has increased enormously. That means, guys, try to visualize. That means from 5 courses to 20 courses. Now, when you read the text, if you find that information like we have increased, we have doubled, tripled, then this statement is true. If you find the opposite, we have decreased significantly, we have reduced significantly, then this statement is false. If you can't find any piece of information, then it's not given. Then it's not given. So can you read further, guys? Can you find this information? Have they increased the number of courses they offered? True. Have they decreased? Then it will be false. If you can't find any piece of information, it's not given. So I see the answers coming. I see the answers coming. Impressive. Absolutely impressive. So well done, guys. Well done. I see the answers coming. Exactly. Right? It's not given. It's not given. It's not given. Right? So do you see? And I see many are kind of involved and they're answering. And I'm really happy to see that, guys. So you see, you got the point. You got the point. So yes, you see, here it says that, well done. So it's not given. Why? Because here it says that we offer hundreds of courses. We offer hundreds of courses. That's a big number. Yes, we offer hundreds of courses in a whole range of subjects from reading, writing, and maths to business and management. Many of these are specially designed. So nothing about an increase. You see, nothing about an increase. Yes, they offer 100, but they don't mention whether they have increased. Now, that's why we need to pay attention to keywords. Quite often, students struggle with false and not given because they don't pay attention to keywords. So you have to pay attention to keywords. So keywords were number of courses offered has increased enormously. So do you see, guys? This exam is not difficult. And I'll tell you once again, it is way easier than PTE, guys. You see, it's way easier than PTE. You just need to follow certain principles. And by the way, guys, we are doing from exam practice questions. And that's why you need to stick to Cambridge IELTS practice test books. You can, that's the thing, guys, have a call tomorrow with our consultants. Take it as an opportunity because you can ask a lot of information from them and also ask for assistance. For example, where can I download Cambridge IELTS practice test books? So our consultants are quite experienced. So they will guide you and they will also share some links. So do register, guys, for this grammar test. The link is given below, and get in touch with our consultants because if you need some additional support, they'll also guide you through. So guys, well done. Very good. I'll be quickly focusing on writing before we wind up. Okay. So remember, if you look at IELTS writing, it is the most challenging section. I've already mentioned that. One reason is that after listening and reading, you have writing. So first listening, then reading for 1 hour, then you have writing where you need to write 2 essays. Well, the first one is not exactly an essay. It's actually a description. So you're given 20 minutes to write a description for a bar chart, pie charts, maps, and diagrams. For task 2, you need to write essays like a reason, solution, opinion, discussion, a 2-question essay. For general IELTS, you will have to write letters for task 1. I'm pretty sure you know we have to write either a semi-formal, formal, maybe it could be an informal letter. So that's how the overall structure. But believe me, guys, it's actually easier than PTE because for PTE, you need to write 2 essays. There are other tasks too, by the way. There are other writing tasks as well. But you need to write 2 essays, not less than 200 words, but within 20 minutes. 2 essays within 20 minutes, not less than 200 words. But for IELTS, you have 40 minutes for task 2, and it should be not less than 250 words. And once you understand the structure, it's really easy. So the thing is, the problem with IELTS is actually even trainers don't know what they're doing, unfortunately, because when I was in Dubai, because I did some workshops, and I was also in Uzbekistan, if you know this country. Have you ever heard about Uzbekistan, guys? Yes? It's a nice country, by the way. So I was there. I was in Tashkent, and I was doing a research and also was understanding how preparation is done. And I can tell you that not only in Sri Lanka, but around the world, only a few, they have an idea how to prepare students. Because I joined a class like a student in Uzbekistan. They didn't know who I was. But at that time, I was very surprised. Like, the way the teacher was teaching, right? Like, showing a model essay. Then, you see, guys, everyone can show you a model essay. Everyone can show you. Everyone can show how the introduction should be written. That's not the approach. It's about how you should write, how to help you to structure a paragraph. That's the most, and whether they provide feedback. Now, in my lessons, I always ask every student, because I always have mini groups, right? So maximum about 16 to 17 students in a group. And when my students, because I conduct lessons through Zoom for speaking and writing, so I always see whether they write their introduction, and I provide feedback. And you can see the reviews, guys, what my students say. And I make sure how they write the introduction, and I provide my feedback. And on our platform, guys, for the expert course, you write 16 essays. For the express course, you write 12 essays. And for every essay, you will receive feedback, detailed feedback based on the marking criteria. And we don't use AI. We have a teacher who works on it, and we give suggestions accordingly. Fine. So, guys, to achieve a very good score for writing, you need to know how the examiner is going to assess you. The examiner is going to assess you based on 4 criteria: task response, coherence and cohesion, vocabulary, and grammar. Task response, coherence and cohesion, vocabulary, and grammar. So you see, you can achieve a very good score if you perform well based on all 4 criteria. Now, for task response, you need to give examples. You need to always elaborate your ideas with relevant reasons. I've already mentioned examples as well. For coherence, you need to have logical structuring. That means when you write your essay, there should be an introduction, 2 supporting paragraphs, and a conclusion. And then, guys, for vocabulary, you can't use contractions. You can't say don't, can't, right? It should be do not, cannot, right? Or maybe instead of people do not have time, it's better to say the lack of time. The lack of time is the root cause. So when it comes to vocabulary, you also need to know how to make your writing style formal, how to use the passive voice. So there are 3 ways which I will share when you join our program. And for grammar, guys, you need to use complex structures. You need to use complex structures, and you need to minimize mistakes with articles, punctuation, prepositions, because quite often students struggle. Now, in our expert course, we have included the grammar course as well. I'll discuss that a bit later. So if you look at why students struggle with writing because of poor structuring. Quite often, students don't know how to develop their ideas. You see, and also, guys, they follow this informal style of writing. So we need to come. No, it's not like when we write even a story, guys. IELTS essay writing is not like writing a newspaper article, writing a novel. It's a different approach. And also, quite often students struggle with writing because of grammar skills. And let me be very honest. I've seen people who are really fluent. That's nice. But sometimes they don't know certain grammar rules. Now, there are 2 kinds of English. English that we use at work, and, we can speak the way we want. And English that we have to use in a professional environment. You can say, Nash, what's the difference? I thought, no, nowadays, guys, the working atmosphere, when you work and when you speak with a workmate, you can be informal. But when you're at a meeting, when you're delivering a speech, when you have to give a presentation, when you're on stage, right? That's professional English. That approach is different. Now, for IELTS, we are looking at that. How can you speak? How can you present your ideas within 5 minutes? So those are very important skills that you need to know as well. So, guys, I spoke about logical structuring, right? I've spoken about logical structuring. There are 2 paragraphs here. Can you tell me which paragraph is nicely structured? Like, there is a topic sentence, there is an explanation for that, then there is a nice example. Linkers are used to connect the idea as well. Which paragraph is logically structured? Is it A or B? So I will take the questions a bit later. So, guys, is it A or B? And I'll take the questions a bit later. I'll take all the questions. So there are 2 paragraphs. My question is, which paragraph is structured logically? Is it A or B? Now, look, 8 says the obvious reason for a stressful working atmosphere nowadays is the increasing level of competitiveness among employees. Consequently, like as a result, this leads to a hostile atmosphere in the working environment. The best solution for this is for employers to create team activities. For instance, it is known that many international companies organize tasks focusing on teams which have made the employees perform effectively in a relaxed atmosphere. So you see, there's a clear progression, guys. We call it as a clear, examiner would call it as a clear progression. Look at B. Working atmosphere becomes stressful because people have too much to do. I think the work should be limited. It is the employee's responsibility to do so. If not, employees will leave. Another problem is that employees don't know how to manage their time. My friend, for example, was always stressed at work. This was mainly because he was failing to manage things for such situations. So if you look at A and B, A is actually more cohesive because every idea is well connected. Now, for example, guys, once again, the obvious reason for a stressful working atmosphere nowadays is the increasing level of competitiveness among employees. As a result, consequently, so what's the outcome? So we use the linker. Consequently, this leads to a hostile atmosphere in the working environment. Then the solution for it, you see, the best solution for this is for employers to create team activities. Then, giving an example, well done. For instance, it is known that many international companies organize tasks focusing on teams and the outcome, which have made the employees perform effectively in a relaxed atmosphere. So always remember, guys, at least keep this in mind. When you develop your supporting paragraphs, come up with your point, explain your point with reasons, make sure there are examples. Okay? Point 1, explanation, example. Point 2, explanation, example. But of course, there are techniques, guys, but at least know the structure. Don't have too many points in one paragraph. Now say, what are the advantages of public transport? You mentioned the first advantage. Develop that with reasons. Give an example. Then come up with the next point, right? So that is a very important approach. Now look at this, guys. You see, environmental pollution affects our planet in various ways. Firstly, it has a direct impact on human health through poor air quality. Then, for example, studies show that respiratory disease have increased by 40% in urban areas over the last decade. You see, guys, we mentioned the first point, we give an example. Furthermore, pollution damages natural ecosystems and wildlife. In particular, the recent oil spill in the Pacific Ocean destroyed marine habitats across thousands of kilometers. Therefore, urgent action is needed to protect our environment. So I can guarantee if you are able to logically develop your ideas, which is not that difficult, you can easily achieve a minimum 7, 100%, guys. Quite often, students who struggle with 6, 6.5, quite often I see people who can't reach that 7 and 7.5. Now, for example, they have a good score for speaking, but not a very good score for writing, is because they poorly structure their ideas. They poorly structure their ideas. So guys, yes, I could go on. As you can see, there's a lot to learn. But what I want you all to understand is it is achievable. There is a lot to learn, but it is achievable. One thing you need to do today, now, right now, is to have a clear target. For example, my required score, band 7. Write it down, guys, when exactly you're going to achieve your goal. So you can say, I achieved band 7, 25th of September, I don't know, the year, right? Or the time that you're going to achieve. Or maybe July, June, August, January, February, March. Doesn't matter, right? So when exactly you're going to take this exam, right? Write it down. That is going to be an important step. Because the moment you write it down, the exact date, you will start working for it. You will start to find information. So that's number 1. Number 2, guys, I can tell you, and I'm not even exaggerating, believe me, as grown-ups, over 70% of candidates, they struggle or they fail to achieve a good score in any exam is because they're disorganized, not because they're weak not because they have a low IQ. Please, we are blessed creatures. All of us are very talented, right? We know that. And I'm pretty sure today I must be having doctors, engineers, right? Accountants, maybe, right? Maybe teachers. I know that we have an English teacher here today. We have professionals. This is a language test. This is not difficult. So don't fall for that trap. We need to be well organized. And I'm going to show you a method. And please make sure to implement this method even if you're preparing by yourself. Number one, acquire. First step is learning. Now, today, you all know how to deal with true, false, not given. You have learned it, right? That's acquire. Then, guys, don't you agree? To become flexible, to become confident, to become familiar, you need to practice. So that's the next step. You need to have sufficient practice. Step 3, implementation. So if you have enough practice, when you look at, when you do a complete test paper, when you see true, false, not given, you know how to approach it. Like cricket, guys, nowadays, very hot, right? Cricket, like, you see, once you have the technique, you'll be able to play the shots properly. Then, guys, step 4, assess your progress. Assess your progress. So what do I mean by that? For example, guys, first step for listening and reading, learn how to approach every question type. Then, guys, practice every question type. Then do complete test papers. And when you do test papers, assess your progress. For example, okay, I have 30 out of 40. I have made 10 mistakes for listening. Which part did I make most of the mistakes? Is it part 3, part 4? Which question type? Maybe multiple choice questions. So I need to focus more on multiple choice questions. Reading the same. Okay, I have 25 out of 40. I made 15 mistakes. Where did I go wrong? Which question type? Multiple choice questions, matching questions, or maybe how to complete a summary. So be objective. You know, never generalize, guys. Don't say reading is difficult, listening is difficult, exam is horrible, I'm not that lucky, God is not with me. Don't say that, guys. Be objective. Be objective. That's a very important step as well. So that's how we have created our courses. We never, you see, I never asked you all to join a course without showing my technique. My technique works. I know that 100%. And I see results consistently. And because I'm not a guru, or like, you know, I created my own technique. You see, so I'm not a, like, you know, how to say, like, you know, I'm not a healer, for example. I am just following official guidelines and methods that are implemented by Cambridge. And I can tell you for sure. So the thing is, guys, you just need to understand how to grasp skills. Now, for example, cricket, guys, I'm pretty sure anyone can be a great cricketer provided they follow the right steps. Now, for example, guys, a very quick story. Look at all the legends. Take Sangakkara, take Sachin Tendulkar, take Virat Kohli. All these cricketers, they have a technique. They are well, like, you know, they practice a lot on their techniques. Take pinch hitters, like big hitters. Apart from Sanath, because Sanath is actually a professional cricketer too, but apart from Sanath, nowadays in the modern cricket, all the pinch hitters, they fail to make a mark. They fail to break records, right? Because they just have to hit the ball. But those who focus on the technique, they become legends. Like that, the human body is such. When we repeat a strategy, right? We repeat a skill over and over, we become masters. So that's a very important thing, guys, not only for IELTS, but also for your professional life. So, guys, we have 2 courses. We have IELTS Expert and we have IELTS Express. So, Expert Stage 1, we have 2 stages, by the way, with the Expert program. It is for 12 weeks. Remember, the Expert course is for 12 weeks. Stage 1, we focus on foundations and essential skills. Stage 2, practice and flexibility. What does it mean? You might wonder. So what we do is during the first stage, lessons are conducted twice a week, once a week listening and reading, once a week speaking and writing. So for listening and reading during stage 1, we focus on every question type. You see, we cover the syllabus. You see, so we teach you how to approach every question type, and we start with simpler tasks. So during the first 5 weeks for listening and reading. For speaking and writing, guys, we will teach you how to use linkers, how to structure paragraphs, how to make your writing style formal, how to brainstorm ideas, and how to write proper introductions. So for writing, we focus on how to improve our writing skills during the first 5 weeks. Speaking, guys, we focus on how to use tenses, how to use conditionals, how to focus on paraphrasing, how to paraphrase the statement while writing the introduction, right? How to use complex structures and how to use comparative structures. All these skills will be important if you want to achieve a very high score in writing. So that's what we do. During the first stage, we learn all the essential skills for every section. Then during the second stage, guys, we focus on implementation. So what we do is, the second stage, you will join lessons with me, both for listening and reading and also for speaking and writing. So what we do is, we focus on exam questions for listening and reading, and we revise what we learned during the first stage. And for speaking and writing, guys, writing, I'll teach you how to write all the essays, reason, solution, opinion, discussion, 2-question essays. And for task 1, I will teach you how to describe graphs, bar charts, pie charts, maps, and diagrams. So it's a very comprehensive program. We have already helped more than 1,100 Sri Lankan students now. So remember, the course price is 39,000 rupees. And actually, it's a very good price. But guys, if you register in 2 days for the program, because we are starting our groups next week, so the first lesson will be next week. Our consultant will share the details. It's going to be 31,000 rupees, and you can pay in 2 installments. Now, remember, for this price, you get the course. Lessons are conducted twice a week. Then you get the platform, our interactive platform, where you will have access for 360. No, you'll have access to 360 lessons, and it will be for 6 months. Okay, 360 lessons for 6 months. And also, guys, the mock exam is included for the expert course, the mock exam. And also, remember, you have access to our additional speaking lessons. So you do have speaking lessons, but every weekend, apart from this, every Sunday, you get to meet our European students and practice speaking, because we are an international company. So you also get to speak with our European teachers and European students. That's an additional thing. That's a complementary thing. Then we have our IELTS Express course. So the Express course is going to be for 5 weeks. Now, if you have a good level, if you're fluent, you use English regularly, you plan to take the exam in a month, maybe end of this month, or depending on your requirements, right? Or maybe you plan to take the exam in 5 weeks, I would highly recommend the Express course. So what we do is, we focus on all the essay types for writing. For listening and reading, I will take the question papers and I'll cover everything, but you need to have a good level. The only difference is, with the expert course, it's very gradual. So if you're a person who wants to improve your vocabulary, grammar, your writing skills, and you want to take it gradually, and if you have time, let's say till maybe you have 3 months, maybe 2.5 months, I would highly recommend the expert program. And then, guys, for speaking, compared to the expert course, for the express course, I cover all 3 parts: part 1, part 2, and part 3. So expert course for comprehensive preparation, express course, if you're planning to take the exam, if you have already taken the exam, and if you have a good level, go for the express course. So for both courses, we have installment options. So, guys, you can pay in installments. What you can do, guys, you can register. So you can still click that button to click to register. Anyway, you have to take the grammar test. So that's important, guys. So to understand which course is suitable for you. Maybe it's the expert. Maybe it's the express. Maybe you just need guidance with writing. Maybe you just need guidance only with speaking and writing. So do register, because you're going to get 3 options. Number 1 is access to our grammar test and the vocabulary test. Then you will get my PDFs, both for speaking and for writing. And also, guys, you can have a nice chat with our consultant, because they are highly qualified and highly experienced. And you can ask all the questions that you wish to ask. And I'm pretty sure they'll be happy to answer your questions. Fine. So now, guys, I'll be more than happy to answer your questions. So please type any question related to IELTS, about the preparation, about the exam. By the way, guys, we constantly get good reviews. we get good results. And as you can see, our students achieve very high score. These are Sri Lankan students. So we haven't shown our European students as well. And by the way, you'll be preparing with our European teachers as well. So we have ex-examiners. And by the way, on our platform, we have ex-examiners who'll be getting involved with you. We always have a personal trainer on the platform. So for the price that you're paying, you're getting a lot. And my aim, guys, because I know I've seen, in 2014, I had a student who had taken the IELTS exam, but not from Sri Lanka. She's actually from Russia. She had taken the exam 17 times. 17 times, guys. Can you imagine? Can you imagine the pain? All she needed was 7 for every section. And for that, she had taken the exam 17 times. So let's make sure that we don't fall into that situation. So yeah, someone has asked whether she should prepare now if she's taking the exam in 2-3 months. Yes, I would say, Emily, you should go for it. You should prepare now. That's the best thing. And yes, by the way, we have another question whether we can do a one skill retake. Now, as you know, for Sri Lanka, we have the computer-based test only. And by the way, guys, compared to PTE, that's why they introduced only the computer format, because, they understood that with IELTS, they used to offer paper-based and the computer-based. But I can tell you that the computer format is more convenient. And nowadays, guys, let's say you don't achieve your required score for a particular section, you can repeat only that section. And that is available only with the computer format. So now, for Sri Lankans, you have that privilege. You can only repeat one section. You don't have to take the whole exam. But, around the world, there are some countries like Kazakhstan, because I help certain Russian students to pass the exam there. And, they have both options. They have the paper format and the computer format. So nowadays, around the world, if you take the paper format, you can't repeat one section. You don't have that one skill retake available for the paper-based test. It's valid only for the computer-based test. So guys, any questions? Any more questions? So to join, guys, you just need to kind of, if you wish to join our programs, you need to kind of register. The link is given. Any other questions, guys? Okay, there is a question like how many sentences in a paragraph, roughly? So usually for a paragraph, right? So overall, it should be 250 words. So we are looking at, let's say, an opinion essay. So for a paragraph, we come up with the main argument. You explain it with reasons. You give an example, and you conclude it. So overall, we are looking at a minimum 4 to 5 sentences. Anything more than that could be a bit of an excess. So we're looking at 4 to 5 sentences, but it depends on how logically you develop. So I'm not in favor of giving precise numbers. I'm more into advising students to understand how logically they would develop their paragraphs. So that's the correct approach. Any more questions, guys, related to IELTS? Okay. Fine. So guys, so do register, right? So do register for the session. Yes, the link is given below. So remember the 2 PDFs that we would like to share. One is for vocabulary, so essential vocabulary for writing, right? So it will be very important. And the other one is like, for speaking. So speaking, guys, I have created a PDF and actually I have covered all the exam questions. And also how you should approach every question type and some essential vocabulary as well. So as you know, in Eastern Europe, we worked as an official testing center. So, we have a lot of guidelines, which I would like to share with you all as well. So guys, once again, thank you very much for joining this session. I hope you guys found it useful. So remember, I've already mentioned that the exam is not as difficult as they try to show. All what you need to do is to understand how you should approach every question type and stick to official guidelines. And make sure, guys, to expose yourself. So listen to audiobooks, listen to podcasts, read books, right? Read news in English, right? Expose yourself. Gradually, you will see immense progress. So guys, if I haven't answered your questions, I do apologize because there are so many people. So I kind of ask my assistants to take care of you all. So in case if I haven't answered your question, do get in touch with our consultants, and I'm pretty sure my consultants will also answer your questions now. So guys, once again, thank you very much. I wish you guys the highest score in IELTS. Take care, guys. So once again, thanks for joining. Have a great evening. Thank you very much. Thank you.